Hello, readers. Welcome to 20 Questions with Your Favorite Author, where we ask authors important questions like, why would you agree to be on this podcast? Today, we have a special edition with the launch of Accidental Murderer in Apartment 34. It is a paranormal horror that you will adore. We have Keisto Healy and his debut contribution to the horror genre, and I cannot wait till you get it. And if Keisto is not your favorite now, he will be after. Yay! Welcome, Keisto. That's great dancing. I like it. We're in the mood, man. This is launch day.
That's right.
That's right. When I woke up this morning, the first thing I did is I text you happy book birthday. How did that feel?
You did. It was really cool because like you did that. And I thought, that just coming from you, it made sense. You're the publisher. But then I went on Facebook and my brother had posted a happy book birthday message on my wall. And I was like, wow, this is a real celebration.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's my book's birthday.
It's not just us. It's time. It's time. And this is not just the birth of this book. It is also the birth of a series. How exciting. So what I do want to do for the folks out there is first read the back cover copy so you know exactly what this is all about. So some mistakes haunt the guilty while others seek revenge. Roger leaves the house filled with the memories of his father's abuse to follow his sister, Kara, to the big city. He's fleeing the trauma of his childhood, though his debilitating anxiety disorder stays with him. Kara finds a psychiatrist to help with that, a kind man named Mark Stevenson. Then Roger finds an affordable place in apartment 34 at Sunnycrest Apartments and a girlfriend, Lisa. Life is finally looking up. That is, until Roger realizes the girl across the hall, Alice, has a father very similar to his own. Brian's screams, mixed with Alice's, are too much for Roger to handle. He feels like he has to save the girl from her father's violence, but his own fear and trauma interfere, and Alice dies. As he tries to move on, to get past the biggest mistake of his life, Alice has other ideas. Now Roger must do for himself what he couldn't for Alice. Make it out of Sunnycrest alive.
Well, that sounds good. I want to buy that.
Oh, no, look at that. I always laugh because everyone's like, oh, man, that sounds like fun. And I'm like, you have no idea how long it took us to write that. Back and forth and back and forth. Yeah, so this is a really fun one. But it's really dark. What inspired you to write this tale?
Oh, gosh. I've just always liked ghost stuff. I was a big John Saul fan, and so most of his books are ghost related, and I was just like, I want to do something with ghosts, but I want to do something different. And then I was like, what if there's a building and every apartment has their own ghost story? So then I was like, well, I got to start with one. And I didn't want to start with like number one on the first floor or something like that. So my favorite number, my lucky number, is 33. So I was like, well, I'll make him live in 34 and then have the ghost come from 33. So then I needed to figure out, an actual story.
That's always the problem, right?
So it was a process. And then really, once I had just a basic premise, I wanted to build more of a story about anxiety, which is my own personal horror that I've struggled with and lived with for my pretty much my entire life. So and there's a lot of people who really don't get what it's like when you have clinical anxiety, and
right, they're just like, buck up, come on now, what's the problem?
because everyone has some level of anxiety at some point in time.
So they think, oh yeah, no, you can handle this. I toughed through it. Why can't you?
Right. Yeah. I was anxious the other day when my thing was late, yeah, it's not the same.
No, that's not it.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I wanna paint this. And I was like, well, then I need a story that fits that gives him a reason for his anxiety to be in overdrive and constantly worked on. And from there is where the pieces kind of fell together.
Yeah, I have to say that the demon in this, it's not just Alice being the ghost. It's also very much his anxiety. That's
Yeah.
also that's really, if anything, that's the biggest demon he's dealing with.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's very clever the way that you put that in there, which is why we say psychological horror too. So it's paranormal because there's ghosts, but there's the psychological element is extremely strong in this.
Yeah, it made me really, really happy to see from the early readers and the reviews that I've seen so far that people have really honed in on that.
Mm-hmm.
People have actually said to me like that they have anxiety and they knew that I did just from reading it because it was too accurate. So uh, it's really cool that part is getting acknowledged.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really nice. The blanket fort says it's the worst when people are like, just do the thing. It's not that hard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and when you're with anxiety or some of these other ones that it's like I can't just do it.
Yeah.
I'm trying, but I can't.
Yeah.
So, but we can't give away the ending. You're just gonna have to read to see how Roger deals with it.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that'll be the fun stuff. This is the hard part, talking about the book without giving everything away.
The ending is my favorite part.
It's really good. Well, I love that the readers like too, because we struggled with getting the pacing right,
Yeah.
because it has to build, but it can't build too
Hmm.
slow. But you can't get right into the action, but you can't.
Right.
And so far, the early readers are saying, I really like it.
Yeah.
So they're
The
enjoying the slow burn, and I'm so happy to hear that.
I was gonna say they've actually mentioned it in the reviews, the slow burn and the building tension and
Mm-hmm.
uh and then they've all mentioned the ending, so without giving it away, of course. Uh
Yes.
but they've commented on how much they were surprised by the ending. So if that's not enough to make you want a copy, I don't know.
I'm telling you, man. Let's see. You were also lucky enough to get a quote from one of your favorite authors. What can you tell us about that?
Oh my gosh, that's I'm not even gonna lie. Like when he wrote me back and he was
Well,
like,
tell us who it
yeah,
is.
oh, Simon Clark, yeah,
Hmm?
author of Blood Crazy, Vampiric, and a ton of other things. Actually, the Vampiric book is kind of a trilogy. It's all incredible. Everything he's ever written is just mind-blowingly good. Um, if you haven't read him, please go out and read him like now. Like actually ditch me and just go read him.
Yeah,
But
he captured it. I'm going to read his quote real quick as you go on. And he says, subtly spellbinding at first, then the horror is unleashed with shocking power. Simon Clark. That's pretty impressive.
yeah, I liked his second quote too. We didn't use that one, but with something about with relentless accretion to detail. Um, I don't know, but I'd have to look it up. But it was an impressive quote too.
Well, I have to say, the cool thing is a lot of these authors, because we do this a lot, and they don't usually, they're busy, they don't read it. But
No,
by
I
what he
know.
said in his email and what he did, I think he actually read it.
Yeah.
And that's pretty impressive. So I have to say,
Well,
not knowing Simon Clark, I became a fan right away.
no, I'll tell you. He's corresponded with me before. I I reached out to him, uh, gosh, years ago, just just to take a chance, like see if any of my favorite authors would respond to me or whatever. And he did. And very, very down to earth, lovely human being, just super supportive. And yeah, I still didn't think he would do this, Like he told me one time, well, let me see the first page of your book. So I sent him the first page, and he's like, I'm going to give it the first page test right now. And he's like, 'cause that's what publishers are going to do too.
Yep.
And he went through with me like what was good about it and what wasn't, and then he said to me, a lot of times people negate the luck factor. He said, there is a luck factor, and you could be doing everything right, and just not getting seen by the right person at the right time, and the only way for that to happen is to keep putting yourself out there. So he, if you look in his about the author stuff on his books, one of the things that really hit me was he listed all the like regular jobs and menial jobs he had before succeeding. And one of them was even grocery stocker at a grocery store, which at the time I was doing. And I was like, this is possible. I can go from this to that. Like,
you're like, I'm on the same path.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'll ever be as eloquent and beautiful with my words as he is, but he's just the fact that he's been what he's been to me, and was willing to read this book and then write quotes for it, and it's just it just blows my. I cried. I did. I read his email and I cried, and then I wrote him back, and I was like, maybe I'm just a sap, but I read what you wrote and I just cried. And he was like, well, I'm so glad that I could help, and I wish your book tons of success. And it was just like, it's just amazing.
It's really cool.
Yeah, no, it's I said honestly, like if I didn't sell a single copy, to me, knowing that like my hero and favorite author read it and enjoyed it and has a quote on the cover, like I already won. Like that's a win for me. Like it's a dream come true.
Oh no, we're gonna sell books. That's kind of the plan.
I know.
Yes.
I'm just I'm saying I already achieved the dream with this book. So like, of course I want to sell the book. Like, yes,
Oh
please
yeah.
buy.
Yeah, we're going to sell this book. If anything else, just like you said, a lot of people with anxiety, I mean, this is a good book for them. Just because they'll get it. They'll be like, I'm not the only one. I mean, there's an important part in your life where you have to understand you're not the only one.
Yeah. Oh,
and then
sure.
maybe make better decisions than Roger does.
Yeah, right. Actually, I just said that to a reader yesterday, because he was like, he said, I'm feeling every part of this book. He said, I feel like I myself am a cross between Roger and Dr. Stevenson. He was like, because I have Roger's anxiety and then Mark's empathy. He was like, and they're like getting in the way of each other sometimes, and it's complicated. And I was like, yeah, no, definitely, me too. That's why I wrote it. Just don't be Roger as late in the book.
make better choices.
Yeah.
Of course, Greg says great stories are all about characters making bad decisions. And,
Of course. Yeah.
He's not wrong.
No,
he's not wrong. He's not wrong, but we can avoid it. And Florida Kevin is right. He says, hey, man, stop talking yourself down. It sounds to me like you really know what the hell you're doing. I absolutely cannot wait to read your book. Oh, yeah, he knows what he's doing. It's a great book.
I really do appreciate that. And I wasn't trying to talk myself down. I was just trying to talk Simon up, because I don't feel like he's as big as he should be. I don't know. Like, to me, that dude is like, you know, I don't know. I've been reading him since the 90s. So,
That's awesome. We'll have to get him on the podcast.
yeah, he'd probably actually come too, because he's just such a cool, down-to-earth dude.
That could be fun. And then you can write all 20 questions for me. That would totally work. But, this is 20 questions. And one of the things we do on 20 questions is ask silly things. So I want to get some silly ones in, and then we get back to the serious stuff. So we'll start the first one, and that is, what is your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Oh, my gosh. Well, I kind of like, this is tricky. Because if we're going with basic ice cream, then, like, yeah, it's going to be just cookie dough. But I feel like Ben & Jerry's is, like, far superior to all other ice cream. And they have, like, some flavors, like Oat of This Swirled, which is really, really good.
What is that?
It's like swirls of cinnamon and oatmeal cookie, and I don't know. It's Ben & Jerry's. Like, it's just made out of magic and goodness. Just just go buy it, eat it.
Just made out of good karma, man. Good karma. That's awesome. All right, favorite ice cream. What is the best thing that you have recently or ever eaten?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I'm a foodie, man. I don't know. I love food. Let's stick with recently, because ever is I couldn't answer
that either. That's why I added recently. I'm like, I couldn't answer ever.
Let's see. Recently.
So many.
I got a comment in the background here that said probably something you made.
Yeah.
Because I also love cooking.
So what I'm hearing is when we have a Cursed Dragon ship writers retreat, that you're going to cook for us. That's what I got.
Absolutely. Here. I would love to. I would.
You got that, Kevin? We're in. Greg, we're in. Let's go.
I love to, even make my own, like, hot sauce, and I can make vegan ranch and, salsa, everything.
That's awesome. I'll bake the bread that Kevin won't eat, but everyone else will.
Yeah, I'm all about some bread, honestly. Some good homemade bread. Yeah, heck yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
We have a bread machine here. Makes bread fairly easily, and then just put it in the oven and let it rise.
Oh, nice.
But it's still, like, hot and soft and crispy on the outside. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Still works. Yeah, I haven't made baguettes yet, and that's what my husband's waiting for. He's like, hurry up with the baguettes. I'm like, I'm sorry, it's more complicated. I did all the easy ones. It's like, I have all these techniques down now. I know how to knead, so I've learned all these techniques. I'm like, I will do baguettes next. So
yeah, okay. I used to actually, one of my previous jobs was I was the bread baker for a 4-star Italian restaurant, and I used to go there at like 3:30, 4 in the morning and start baking the bread. So when they opened at lunchtime, they would have all the fresh bread.
Some yummy ciabatta ready to go.
And yeah, well, they had their list of signature breads, but then every week they would let me make like a baker's bread. So I would just try out all these crazy fun things.
That would be fun.
Yeah, it was so fun. Cheeses and fruits, and I put all kinds of interesting things in there. Huh. Not together, not at the same time. That would have been weird. But I mean, like.
Or it could totally work. You never know until you try it.
Can you never know.
That's right. Awesome. Let's see. Cats or dogs?
So I didn't answer the question. So I guess pizza. We'll just go with pizza.
Right,
I had really good pizza recently.
That you made? Did you make the dough?
I didn't make the dough. Grandma made the dough, but
good.
But I assembled it and made the pizza.
Nice.
Yeah, it's fun. It's good.
Yeah, we couldn't find a big pizza stone, believe it or not.
Oh, we have
Like,
one. Yeah.
I'm like, can we just get Slate from the store or something? This is driving me crazy. This
I think
supply chain thing's not working for me.
I think we ordered one.
I
Um,
tried, but it was a little one, and then I didn't know what to do with it. I'm like, well, that's not big enough.
yeah, yeah, personal pan pizza.
Yeah, just like I'm like, no, that's not gonna work. It's not gonna work for me. Even if I try to make a little one, I'm gonna not get it on there. Like it's gonna end up all over the place. I have a learning curve in my life, and I'm
As
used to
far
it.
as
It's fine, but I have to adjust.
as far as cats and dogs, I love both. I love all animals, but I love cats and dogs separately for different reasons. Like
That's fair.
I love dogs because they're like little people and they're so like mushy and they'll spoon with you at night when everyone else is on vacation and you're sad.
You're like, I'm by
And
myself.
and then I love cats because they're like an example of what you should be and like how you should live your life. Because cats are just like, I'm amazing and I do things my way and I don't care what you think. And I'm just gonna go over here and I'm gonna eat this. What? What do you want? You got a problem? I'll just pee on your stuff. How's that? Yeah.
That is, you
Now feed me.
totally are describing my cats. And then we do. Oh.
Right? Yeah, exactly. I know. Because they're winning. They're doing it right. That's what I'm saying. So they're cool. We
Stupid
have
cat.
we have right now our house is basically like a farm. We have so
Oh.
we've only got the one puppy, but we had our two uh older cats that we've had for a while, but now we have two kittens who are the cutest things in the world and they love each other and they like cuddle together all the time. It's just I can't stop taking pictures of them. And then I've got one, two, three outside cats. So um
Can't
there's a
chase monkeys.
there's a lot. There's a lot of animals.
I feel
And
you.
then we have our yard bunny. And the neighbor has chickens and the chickens just come over to the yard sometimes like, hey, what's up? Just wanted to get something from the garden. How's it going? I'm coming back over here. Don't
Hey, they'll keep like bees away. That's good. Chickens can walk through my yard all they want.
No, I'm not hating on the chickens. Chickens are fun.
Mhm.
The roosters drive me crazy.
Oh yeah,
But
we're not a fan of roosters. We had to
no,
kill one at the barn one time. It would not stop attacking everyone. But the
um,
chickens, they were great, man.
I just mean they're loud. I'm not.
Oh no, this one was like it was
Yeah,
violent, and
they
they're
can get
kids.
mean. They can
And it
definitely.
was like, no, you got to go. These kids aren't even near your coop. There's nothing to defend. These kids are not hurting your chickens. You got to stop. No, he had to go. Nope. Nope. But so we made sure to stick with hens from then on out. But you don't know all the time, you try, but there's no guarantees. And by we, I did not own them. It was at the barn. I live in a neighborhood. My life's boring.
And things just got dark. Talk about my
Well,
book being
we
dark. You're
are
like, we
talking about
murdered the rooster.
horror. Crocodiles are adorable, Kevin. He says some
I
people
love
find crocodiles
crocodiles.
adorable. I love crocodiles.
Yeah, I love them.
Yeah, see, Blanket Fort kicked his mom's rooster the other day for the same reason. Exactly. Some of those roosters are just horrible. Horrible. Notice I said some. I don't have an all rule. I also don't have like a lifetime of experience with them. Just the ones I've been exposed to were awful.
Hashtag stop rooster hate.
Well, Friday Blue wants to know, what is your favorite horror book?
Oh, wow.
I know she asks the tough questions.
Oh my gosh. I really, I mean, there's so many great ones. Golly. Um, well, I mean, you can just say any book by Simon Clark. Vampiric is one of my favorites. Um, as same with Clive Barker, really. Like most everything he's written is the Books of Blood short stories are some of my favorites and biggest influences too.
Mm-hmm.
And Robert R. McCammon, golly, what's Stinger is one of my favorites. Swan Song, it's another great one. Wolf's Hour, that's an amazing book. Um, what got me as a kid was the old school Dean Koontz when he was actually a horror writer, and like Servants of Twilight was such a good book. Where I was a kid and I'm reading this book about this mom and trying to take care of this kid while this crazy lady is insisting that the kid is the Antichrist. And like as you're reading the book, you're like, is she the bad guy or is he the Antichrist? And like you're trying to figure it out, and it's just like your brain's just like ah. And I was
Very
like,
clever.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like it. I mean, that's the book my brother like handed me, and was like, stop reading kids books and start reading good stuff. And then I started like really getting into it after that, and writing, so like that book really started it for me. But yeah, I could go on all day as far as horror.
Well, I love that. I love you had lots of them. It wasn't just like I've read Stephen King and that was it.
Yeah.
Like you know your horror, and it shows in the book. And I found that other quote too. So the other quote by Simon Clark was, "Relentless accretion of detail and increasingly disturbing events draw the reader into this decidedly intriguing and intensely horrific novel."
Yeah,
So
see, that's
awesome.
a cool quote.
That is a cool quote too. I love it. We'll put that on ads.
Yeah.
No, that's a great quote. So my question is now, so for this one, you have Mark Stevenson is the psychiatrist,
Mhm.
and he's the one trying to help Roger.
Right.
Now, Roger's story is over by the end of this book.
Yeah.
So how are you going to make this a series? What's happening as you go forward?
Oh, well, yeah, like I said, each apartment has their own story, and well, which really means that if it develops a fan base, I can go on for a long time. but but it's set to be a 5 book series for now, and yeah, Mark is kind of going to be the connecting factor. There's already in book 1 you hear about Maria, and there was a past story that hasn't been told yet. So he's already partially connected to Sunnycrest, and then you have the what happens at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll have more of a reason in book 2 to get involved um, and start to raise his own questions about what's really going on. And as the books continue, I feel like more and more Mark is going to wonder how it's possible that all of this keeps coming to him, and what is his connection? How is he drawn to this building? So by book 5, I figured that will be Mark's story.
Big moment.
Yeah.
I'm excited to find out. And it's pretty good when your editor is excited to read more, just for the record.
Yeah.
Because I read all the time, multiple times, and I never used to read books more than once. And now, of course, I have to read them multiple times to see how they're going, the progress. And, this is what I did for a living. By the way, everyone out there that's like, I wish I could read for a living. It's awesome. But it's not all it's cracked up to be. Just remember that.
It's work, for sure.
It is actual work.
Definitely work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. So, yeah, and I look
That's
forward to
what,
that.
I said to someone earlier today. I said, I'm really proud of this book, and all the work that we've put in and what we've made, because you worked your butt off on this book too, and the multiple edits and drastic changes, and
Well,
it's
that's a secret though. Like we worked well together. Because
for
everything
sure.
I was trying to change, I never was trying to change your voice, never tried to change your vision. It never, right? Like it was just
Yeah.
making it flow the best it could so that readers would love it.
Yeah.
So, mhm. So that's great. It's nice when you find an editor you can work with.
Yeah.
And
really.
for the record, an author you can work with. Because I've had some authors I've turned away, even though their story is pretty good, just because we're not going to work together very well, are we? I don't know this is going to work. That's half the battle. Half the battle. Which reminds me, because we met because you did a short story in Misspelled. Not Misspelled. That's the new one coming out.
No,
Horizons.
it was Horizons.
Right, in Horizons. And it turns out you've done a lot of short stories.
Oh my gosh, so many.
So if someone wanted to like explore that work, where would you point them? Where would you point them to start as they're waiting for book 2?
Oh gosh. I would say just follow me on Amazon, because there's probably close to 100 books on Amazon currently that have my work in them.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got a bunch of other stuff still coming out too. So I mean, I don't want to. It feels bad to advertise things done with other publishers on your podcast, so I won't
No, this is about you.
I won't.
This is about you. No. You advertise all your stuff. This is what we're about. It's the best thing about the publishing industry. We don't need to compete in that way, right? It's not like somebody buys your book and now they're not going to read any other horror. Do you see what I mean? Like they love horror. They're going to love horror. They're going to read lots of horror. So no, that doesn't bother me one bit. It's one of the things I like about this. I'm not competitive in that way. I don't like stepping on my friends. And in this business, you don't. So I love that.
Well, there's a book coming out. My friend Mark, who's he's a really cool writer too. And he has a novella out called Nana, which is really creepy. But he's been working on his own stuff, and he had a spot in this anthology, and felt like he couldn't do it for other things, so he recommended my name, and I was like, sure, why not? And then I sent something to them, and they loved it, and that's coming out now. It's available for pre-order, and it's really cool because the whole thing is like it's a story of a cul-de-sac that there's weird things going on, and each person writes a different house on the cul-de-sac and mentions the different neighbors, and the stories kind of lightly intertwined. It's fun.
That is very clever.
And then I have there is, with Breaking Rules Europe, I have a novella coming out called Hell Hath No Fury. And if you think this is horror, that's horror. It's brutal. It's like the first publisher that rejected it said, I love the story, I do, but it's a gut punch, and I can't. So
she's like, my audience, not so much.
Right.
There's an audience, just not mine. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's
and
fair.
I was like, I get that. I wrote it. I know it's messed up, but it's a real girl power story. Basically, a girl who's been through horrific trauma, who's been like closed off, goes on a camping trip to try to get back into life with her support network of people she cares about, when they get ambushed by masked killers in the woods. And she realizes just how much she wants to live. And things get really violent. But it's
sometimes whatever you have to do to survive.
Yeah, it's a hard read, but I like to do all kinds of of things, like the whole spectrum. I also I just did a paranormal romance thing. There's it's called Bones Hollow, and
That's a
there
cool name.
yeah, Bones Hollow, Vermont. It's a town. It's a town where fully made up of supernaturals and monsters, and where they can live judgment free and all get along with each other. Uh, and every major holiday, they're putting out a different book of romance stories that take place in Bones Hollow. So
That's fun.
yeah, I wasn't in book one. I hadn't heard about it yet, but then I was in book two, and I just did book three, and they're wrapping that one up now. So
That's awesome.
yeah, so that's what I mean. Like I mean, I've written comedy stuff too. Like I want to do all of it. I'm not like just horror. I do love horror though.
We love it too. So, like Kevin, speaking of loving horror, Kevin wants to know that is that a common problem in horror where the publishers shy away from their own genre?
It really depends. Like, with horror, you'll find a lot of publishers are very nitpicky. Like they have some of publishers, they just want splatterpunk, or they just want, extreme horror. And some of them want weird horror, and they'll be like, it's not weird enough. It needs to be more. And some of them, they just want Cthulhu stuff. Like, there's a lot of that. Cosmic horror. And so it's really like just finding the right spot for your specific story. You got to shop it around. That's the only way to do it. But once you've dealt with people and you know what they want and you've had stuff out there, then it's easier, because then when you're writing a story, you're like, oh, this story would fit perfectly with them, and then you can bring it to the right people.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's just a matter of networking. You know, that's a big part of this.
Oh, no doubt. And that's how you also, if you want to write for a specific publication, make sure to read that publication, right? That gives you the idea of what it is that they're looking for, the things that they like. Because if they bought those stories, that's what they want. So yeah, that makes perfect sense.
And really, really read the guidelines. Like a lot of people will just look at like the only parts I need to know are like, word count and where to send it and whatever. But like if some of them, they'll have really long guidelines, and they'll say like things we definitely don't want, or things that are a hard sell for us, and things that, and then sometimes I'll have this story and I'm trying to find a place to pitch it, and then I'll look and I'll be like, oh, well, this isn't it. Like it sounded good until I got to the bottom. You got to read the whole thing.
Yeah, I saw one that said no more stories with cats. And I was like, how many cat stories have they gotten? They had to actually put this in their submission guidelines. It was hilarious to me. I was like, man, that's got to be hilarious. Awesome. Well, we probably should mention that not only do you have this awesome one out, but in May, right? May?
Yeah, that's what you said. Right? May, yeah.
In May, you have a fantasy series coming out. So as you were saying, you're not a one-trick pony.
No, and I love that, because I'm really big into fantasy. I've always have been, like, since I was a kid. I was a Dungeons and Dragons kid, and I love reading fantasy. Like I love like writing horror, but I love reading fantasy because like I love multiple characters and like epic quests and like all the emotion and like it's just so exciting to me. And so I always want to like make a fantasy series. So like now that I've got one, that's really exciting. It's really cool.
Yeah, it'll be fun. And yeah, Florida Kevin, it's an epic fantasy. So it's not horror fantasy. This one's epic fantasy. So
Oh, yeah.
it's really exciting. Completely different genre, completely different feel. It's just it's beautiful. So it's fun. And if you want a sneak peek of that, you can get Horizons, and he has kind of the pre-story to that.
Yeah, it's definitely it's the prequel for sure. Mm-hmm. So yeah, check that out. Get pumped up for it.
Yep. So that'll be exciting too. So Kisto, you were awesome. So where can fans find you and your work? You have Facebook, right?
You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and yeah, feel free to hit me up. I love hearing from people, and I like helping other authors out if I can too. So if people need advice or just a beta reader or something, definitely feel free to ask. And then no, I know I feel like one of the things that's made the past couple of years so great for me is meeting so many other authors and becoming part of a community. Like it's really great. It's my own epic fantasy.
You're on your journey now.
Yeah, my hero's journey.
I love it. I love it. Awesome. Well, you were great, Kisto.
Except for the fact that I talk so much, you only got through like 4 questions.
Oh, that's okay, because this is really about your launch. I'm usually more disciplined about the questions. The 20 questions is just because we do it on Tuesday. If this was about your launch, we definitely talked about that. So I would have gone through the whole. What we'll do is we'll get you on later to actually just do the 20 questions. That's what we did like with Kevin Petway too, right? So we launched his book, but then we have him on later to do the 20 questions. So we'll do the same with you.
So I can't see what anybody was saying or whatever, but I hope you guys are pumped for the book and everybody had a good time.
Yeah, I think every single person in the chat bought a copy.
Oh, yeah?
So you convinced them. Good job.
Wow.
Yep, that's a good
thing. Huge.
And I know Friday Blue always reads them. Yeah, and I know Friday Blue always reads them in Kindle Unlimited. So we have all the rounds covered because our chat is the best chat. So awesome. And we'll reward you after we're done recording. So I think we're good and we'll see you. And let's see, next week we have author Claire Wynn on. So we'll see you next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Central. Bye.